life sketch of Abdul Qadir Gilani. From his early childhood, he was quiet and given to contemplation and used to what is called mystic experiences. When he was about 18 years old, his thirst for knowledge and eagerness for the company of holy men took him to the distant city of Baghdad. At that time, Baghdad was the center of learning of all kinds. For his first journey to Baghdad, it is related that as he was about to leave home, his widowed mother sewed 80 gold coins inside his coat, just below his armpits, as provision against hard times. This money was his share of the patrimony. As he was taking leave of his mother, her parting advice was that he should not speak an untruth at any cost whatsoever. So the son promised to bear this advice always in mind. The caravan with which he traveled had gone only as far as Hamadan when it encountered a gang of robbers. In the course of their looting, the robbers did not take much notice of him because he looked quite simple and poor. But then one of them casually asked him if he had any money with him. So the young Abdul Qadir, remembering his promise to his mother, replied, "Yes, I have 80 gold pieces sewn into my garment by my mother." The robbers were astonished to hear him make this statement. They could not imagine a man could be so truthful as that. So they took him to their leader, who put the same question to him, and his reply was the same as before. The leader then ordered that part of his coat to be opened, and as it was opened, the 80 gold coins were found as stated. So the robber was so astonished, and he inquired of the young traveler the basis of this surprising veracity. So the sheikh related all that had taken place between himself and his mother at the time of parting, and added that if he had told a lie on the very first stage of his journey, for the sake of religious knowledge, he had obviously no chance of acquiring any real knowledge of religion at subsequent stages of his career. On hearing this, the leader of the gang burst into tears, fell down on his feet, and repented for all his past sins. It is reported that he was his first disciple. Abdul Qadir Gilani, Early Life, Part 2. As a student in Baghdad, Abdul Qadir endured a lot of great hardships. He was truthful and charitable to the extreme. He had natural talents and devotion, and soon he became a master of all the different subjects that could be learned by a scholar in those days. He proved to be the greatest jurist of his time, but his deeper spiritual yearnings were restless to manifest themselves. Even in his adolescence, when he was engaged in his studies, he was fond of the ascetic life so as to rise above his animal self. So he often resorted to fasting and would not ask for food from anyone, even if he had to go without any meal for days at a time. He used to seek out the spiritually minded in Baghdad and cultivate intimate friendship with them. And it was in the course of this search that he came across Hazrat Hamad. Hazrat Hamad was a vendor of syrups, but also a great saint of his time. So gradually, this saint became a sort of a spiritual tutor to Abdul Qadir Gilani. However, Hazrat Hamad was a very dry and harsh kind of person. His treatment to our budding Sufi was extremely severe, but Abdul Qadir Gilani bore all this as a kind of corrective for his own spiritual defects. As he finished his studies, he became even more severe on himself. He began to deny himself all the needs and comforts of life except the bare minimum that would sustain his life. So the time and energy he saved, he would employ it in prolonged prayers, reading of the Quran, and so he was so engrossed into his prayers, that he could be seen saying his morning prayers with the ablutions from the previous night. And it is reported that very often he was seen finishing the recitation of the Quran in a single night. During this period, he avoided all contacts with people, and he would not meet or talk to any man. If he went out, he would roam about in the desert. Eventually, he left Baghdad and went to stay at Shustar. It's a place that's 12 days' journey from Baghdad, and for 11 years, he shut himself off from the world. The end of this period marked the end of his training as well. He received the illumination, and his animal self had by now vacated his soul in favor of his higher being. And he was now established in God consciousness.